Kia ora and welcome to Aotearoa on the Pacific Ring of Fire and the new moon, beginning Chinese New Year of the Wood Dragon, and our temple space as our sun releases one of the greatest solar flares it's done in years. So all by divine design and perfect timing and alignment. And I want to thank you all the way you enter temple space so timely and in silence. So let us align our bodies so that we can best harmonize our field so that all that needs to be shared today, spoken and unspoken, may do so between us as one unified field. So let us align the bodies, physical, mental, emotional, with all pervading soul, higher self, and oversoul. And if you feel you need to stand, sound, breathe, move throughout this process, please do so. This is not a mental exercise alone. The more we integrate our energetic bodies through our physical, the more aligned we become. Activating our earth stars, 1 foot beneath the feet, 1/2 meter beneath the feet. Connecting through the divergent meridians of the planetary body. Connecting with the primordial elemental energies of creation. Earth, water, fire, air, and ether. In the purity of their origin and infinite potential. And inhaling those elemental energies up through the physical and energetic bodies. Slowly, consciously, inviting those elemental forces to cleanse, clear, and purify our pillars, and also harmonize us with the planetary body in the same percentage of each elemental. Activating the soul star, 1 foot, 1/2 meter beneath the above the head, connecting through all space, time, and dimension, that part of ourselves that resides outside of time. Surrendering to the core of source in the heart of Gaia, where the new earth architecture emerges that is not outside of self. Imagining that architecture, that planetary body, to be in the pelvic bowl, and allow yourself to surrender into that space, to be held and supported by this space, and the unconditional love and patience of our planetary body. Feel what it is to rest in there and to arrive fully. Surrendering through the core of source in our own heart spaces. Surrendering through the core of source in the heart of the sun that is not outside of self. Imagining the sun to be in the heart space. For as we are evolving, our planetary body is evolving, so too is our solar body evolving. Surrendering through the core of source in the heart of the moon that is not outside of self. And activating our solar discs, our lunar discs, and triangulating them through the emerald heart, the universal heart that lies within each and every one of us. Surrendering through the core of source in the galactic center that is not outside of self, and imagining that galactic center to be in the pineal gland, the all-seeing, the all-knowing. Inviting you to inhale through the nose, exhale through the mouth with sound. And that first sound, your own soul signature, is used to strengthen and fortify your own individual pillar. Oh. Second inhale, exhaling with sound to synchronize our individual toroidal fields with the planetary toroidal field. Inhaling, exhaling with sound, and to unify the toroidal field between us all that surrounds the planet today. Oh. May all that pass through this space be according to the divine plan and divine will, in right relationship with our physical bodies and our human experiences, and infused with play, passion, and pleasure. Handing over to Casey to honor our unseen realms for this journey.
As we're in this sacred space, we're going to continue on breathing into our bodies and connecting our soul lights with each other. Breathing deeply and anchoring yourself within your physical system. Anchoring your energy down to Gaia. And expanding your light out through your column. Recognizing the lights that are around you. All of us who have joined in circle today, choosing to merge our lights together, becoming one. See them shining uniquely on the globe. Each member of the soul family that has arrived, that is here. We're welcoming and honoring the realms between realms. All those not in the palpable space between us. Stepping forward for support, for acknowledgement to be part of our circle today. Recognizing first Gaia, Pachamama, the beautiful earth that we connect to daily. And on her and in her, all of the elemental realms, those that live between the earth space, those that walk among us, all of the animal guardians, our plant friends, our tree beings, those in the skies above us. welcoming in the forces of water, of wind, of fire, welcoming in all of our galactic families to join us in this space today. Feeling how our circle expands as the supporters join forces with us, stand beside us, hold our hands. Welcoming in the dragon realms that wish to be acknowledged today. The different lineage of each of the dragon races. Stepping forward with a unique soul signature, a unique vibration, each carrying their own mission, their own job. Supporters of Earth, supporters of the human race. Recognizing at this time the great giants that are beneath the Earth's crust, the ones that are sleeping, slumbering, waiting for this time to be awakened, waiting for those who are the ancient ones to wake them up, to step beside them and call them back. Recognizing that the dragon races are our bridge between realms, our worlds between worlds, our connecting points. They are our Earth star tether to the Earth, keeping us here, reminding us that this has always been home, and helping us to expand out past our human consciousness level. Welcoming in all the ancient tribes of the dragons to step forward. The most ancient ones, the ones that helped create this place where we are now and created planets before this one. Those that hold that primordial tether that help us to remember back further than our memories, further than our soul memories, further than any twinkling light, helping us to trace our steps back to source. As we step back into the alignment where we are connected always with source, we are able to transport ourselves back to these memories, back to these times when we walked with the dragon realms hand in hand, when we were once our creator selves, and these are the selves that we are stepping back into. And with our supporters, our dragon families, our galactic families, we are able to create that space, that reality here, now on Earth, in the new Earth space, as the ancient ones, bringing back their ancient codes in order to bring them forward into the new. We are creators of the new by remembering the old, by remembering our most primordial selves, our creator selves. Welcoming all that energy to return to each one of us. All those remembrance parts and pieces, those codes coming back and flooding in. Allowing our cells and our bodies to be activated, to be turned on, to be remembered. That we are bigger than this lifetime, that we are bigger than ourselves. And that we are here to complete our missions in this lifetime. And we need all of our supporters to help us do it. All of our soul families to return. And with this energy, this vibration, this connection in the circle, we open ourselves up to the information that wishes to come forward at this time. Understanding that we receive more than the human brain can hold, that we receive it in our bodies and our cells. Holding this level of expansion, we're going to slowly, gently come back to the physical self. Breathing in our bodies, anchoring a little bit more, yet allowing ourselves to stay expanded. Breathing deeper, begin to add some gentle movement to your body, wiggling those toes or those fingers, and allow your eyes to open gently.
Beautiful. Thank you, Casey. Also feels important to honor the point on the planet where each one of us stand today. To honor the watchers who wish to join us today. And to honor those who will be joining us through this recording outside of time. Much has been moving through the earth and the cosmos since we met 2 weeks ago. And the sun has just released an enormous solar flare, largest in years, that is likely to create geometric storms on the planet over the next 3 days. Know that you may be feeling this. And it's a really important time to stay close to the earth, to stay hydrated, and to be mindful of being on your parasympathetic nervous system, your rest and digest nervous system. Gentle exercise, hydration with quality water. When and where possible, immerse your bodies into earth waters. Sweet or salt, warm or cold, regardless, it does not matter, but it will support your physical body and your integration of these shifts and changes that we are entering this year of the Wood Dragon. What emerged about a week ago through a meeting with Olga was something that had been brought into my awareness while I'm feeling for my sacred space of love to call home on the east coast of Te Tai Tokerau, Tail of the Whale, and Aotearoa in the far north. I was taken to a place called Parakura Bay, which is in the area I was born and raised, on a pathway, a ley line that begins in the Hokianga Harbour on the west side. I was born in Kaikue, where my parents lived in Ohiwai, and grew up in the Bay of Islands. And that pathway, that ley line comes across, that dragon line comes across the top of the North Island and out through a place called Rafiti. And this land I was feeling into was on that ley line. And it was very interesting because the real estate agent was the same age as me and had also gone through her awakening process in her early 40s. And we had an extraordinary reunion conversation while we were feeling into this property. And the conversation that arose was about bees. And she said to me, "Have you noticed the lack of honeybees?" And I said, "Yeah, I had since I'd been there, since I'd landed back in the country where I'd been in Ohiwai in my horse and house sit. There was a distinct lack of honeybees." Now, prior to this, on the beekeeping groups in New Zealand, everyone was talking about the abundance of honey and honeybees. And I said, "That's interesting. I wonder when it started." And I was tuning into how long ago it started. And it literally started at the time I arrived. I landed in New Zealand. And then she said, it started, while I was tuning into that, she said it started about 5 weeks ago. So it was at that point that there was a distinct lack of honeybees. And from this, we picked up a lot of interference on this particular ley line or pathway on the planet. And if those of you that know the history of Aotearoa, the government currently stands on a very unstable ground as a ruling body, because the treaty that was signed between Māori and Pākehā, between Māori chiefs, not all, some, and the British royal family, does not allow, they never ever gave up sovereignty of this land. yet that is how the government rules. So it's a really interesting journey to witness, because I also grew up in Bay of Islands on Waitangi Marae, where this was signed. So there was an enormous gathering this year on that pathway. And when we bear in mind that the sole destiny of Aotearoa, along with Ireland and Canada, triangulating, is to anchor sovereignty into the new earth, we managed to pick up a lot of interference on this particular pathway that was using electromagnetic frequency and interfering with the bees. Was actually disrupting the honeybees. So I don't know if Olga has anything more she would like to add to that journey.
I think that what was important, that after we managed to remove this part of interference, there were like a few dragons which were awakened, like a really huge ones. And I think it was like it was Shanghai or Hong Kong, when like the two like huge dragons, probably the biggest I've ever seen, like a black and white. So probably Casey would know more like what kind of dragons they are. But it was like a huge, like white and really ancient white and black dragon. And when they awakened, they started to move in the infinity sign together, like black and white. And it's really, really powerful. And also when we removed like the electromagnetic net, which was above the whole China, there was like the picture was, it was like there were dragons waiting in the earth in China, like for eons. And it, as a picture, it looked like almost like the sea of dragons, like they were kind of like going out of the earth and creating dragon waves. But they were like, it was like the whole tribe, like all over China. So this was really like a powerful part of it. So probably Casey would know what kind of dragons were.
Yeah,
So I only speak.
It was interesting because the pieces, it had to be the interference had to be taken out in a certain way, and the first one was between Australia and Indonesia.
Yeah.
The next one
Java.
was between, it was in the pyramid of Java. There's an enormous pyramid in Java there. So it was Australia and Java was the first one that had to be undone. And then the next one was between Hong Kong and China. And when China came off, there was all that was underneath that needed to be released. And it was very connected with the disconnection and disassociation of those with Chinese ethnicity from the planet and from their own bodies. This was all connected with that. So all that was cleared off, and the opportunity for those with ethnic origins and roots in Chinese bodies will have a greater access to come into their own sovereignty and source and into their bodies and connection again from that. And then the next part was down through Utah, Salt Lake City, and Guatemala, El Mirador Pyramid Complex. And there's a connection there we've worked with before on earlier programs between the Mormon Church in Salt Lake City and El Mirador. And then the next one was between
Antarctica and Arctica, like the axis.
Yeah, the main axis between Arctic and Antarctic, which very much has to do with the axis mundi of Gaia, and this coming back into free flow of life force. And maybe Casey has something she would like to add to that unraveling.
Well, they're showing me the connection with the honeybees themselves, and we know that they carry the galactic consciousness, right? So that distortion with the honeybees not allowing the humans to digest the honey breaks the connection that the humans have to expand out to that next consciousness level, right? It keeps us in and from expanding out, because that honey is a way that we ingest that solar consciousness and bring it into our bodies and bring it into our cells, right? And so by disrupting the honeybees themselves, they're stopping the pattern, they're stopping the flow from happening and helping us to expand our ascension processes, right? That's why some of the giant solar flowers are coming in now to like bring that new blast of information, that awakening process for ourselves to take in on the new level. But some of these distortion patterns, it's beautiful that you guys had the opportunity and the awareness to kind of bring those into completion, right? In order for some of these new layers and levels to come forward, for the new work to go forward, some of these old things have to be taken down. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very much like our personal systems. There's nothing new to put in. We actually just have to unpack. And unpacking that which is not ours makes space for the new to unfold from within. Yeah.
And it's interesting because this last week there were many celebrations happening among the dragon realms. So the fact that you guys saw those dragons, those Chinese dragons, which was so beautiful, right? That big flood of all of their energy flowing forward because now they had freedom. There were lots of mergers happening in inner earth between the dragon races, marriages uniting together, all dragon different lineages finally coming together for peace treaties and for big celebration time, right? Because of this beginning of the new year, the Chinese New Year, and the new vibration coming to the earth. So there's many beautiful new unions happening. And so celebrations were happening on all levels this last week. Yes.
Yeah. Very beautiful.
And what was also like really important in what we were doing is what came was that what is really important right now is sovereignty, like nations, but also like internal sovereignty. And that what will really matter and will make a change is like voice of the people. And like all those places we've been working with, they're like holders of the song lines. So these are very particular people, like holding very specific, having very specific role on the planet. But it was also like about everyone, and just like really that your voice matter, and like your vibration bringing your soul signature. And we haven't spoke about it because I had like next day I had another layer of that which is connected with that, and it was really really showing how important it is to work through our trauma, because like another layer of this interference was kind of mimicking our traumas, and like and it was all over the planet. It was not only in those places, it was just like the global thing, but it was in order to kind of take people out of their soul lines into their trauma lines. And it was said how important it is to choose our soul lines, choose our actions, beliefs, everything we do from the level of our soul destiny, and also be able to recognize if there is like interference which is awakening our trauma, which is not our trauma, because this was what was happening through this interference, and it was coming through Uluru, which kind of for me personal was really like annoying, or kind of go away from Uluru. And and they're kind of like messing up with the song lines, and it's all about like bringing it back. And it was like a very precise information that we are making this choice, that where the planet will go, if it will go this way or this way, it's just like the combination of all our personal choices, and that it's really important like to voice ourselves and to like vibrate our own vibration and bring our like whatever we came here to bring. So, and to be really like really I prefer to talk about codes and all the great things which are coming, but this was really like really tricky interference, just to be really aware if you feel something which feels familiar, but there is something off, that there were a lot of people feeling like, they're traumatized again or something, but it was not true. It was kind of like triggered intentionally to like shift the focus of attention, so that it's really important to really be anchored in who we are and follow the soul destiny, because it's the destiny of the planet actually. So
thank you, Olga. Is there anyone else that has any contributions to the field? We'd love to hear from you. Please be very clear and concise with your transmissions. And likewise, if anyone has any questions for the field at this stage, please bring your questions so we can ask them together. So the other,
I'd like to share.
Sorry?
I'd like to share a song, if that's acceptable.
Certainly, we'd love to hear your song, Brigitta.
Okay, thank you, Lynn. Hola, 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 oh. Hena te aro na, te aniano, ora ia te ana ho, he na, hia ni hana ho, e te na. Ira, ira, irano, te na. That's it.
Beautiful, thank you. That was not just heard, but also felt. Thank you for that beautiful transmission from Aotearoa.
Beautiful, thank you.
And let that song be the gateway for today's journey. We have received an invitation to go and meet our dragons today. So I invite yourselves to have a drink of water if you feel a need. Get yourself comfortable. That may be sitting or lying down. Whatever is most supportive for you. For we are going for a journey into Dragonland. Taking a few breaths, inhaling through the nose, exhaling through the mouth softly. And as we exhale, allowing ourselves to dissolve, taking our consciousness down to our Earth Star. For it is through our Earth Star that we will find the pathway to meet our dragon cells that have been waiting in inner Earth for this day, for this time, for this date with destiny. From the Earth Star, feeling into which element presents strongest for you today. Is it earth, water, or fire? Connecting with that elemental power of creation. and know that it will lead you to your destination. To meet with your particular dragon and your dragon clan, your dragon tribe in Inner Earth. Down through the soils, the bedrocks, the waters, into the molten core in the heart of Gaia. Feeling for your dragon and your circle of dragons, your dragon family, that have been patiently waiting through eons for this divine date with destiny. Taking your place in the circle, stepping inside your dragon self, knowing that this dragon self is not separate from you. Feeling in to the dragon body. Remembering our dragon body. Remembering the heart fire of the dragon. The courage, the power, the love, and the wisdom. That is no longer outside of self, for it all lies within. And as we sit in our individual and collective dragon circles, we're going to take maybe 5 minutes here just to sit in circle with your dragon clan, with your dragon tribe, as yourself, as your dragon self. In your independent sharing circles of remembering. And of receiving the information that you require to walk this next year on Earth and bring your future self into the now. Taking a moment to honor your dragon clan, your dragon tribe. And dropping a pin for yourself, for your own GPS system, knowing that you can come to your circle at any time. The pathway is yours to remember. The pathways are open. This pin also seems to have a game to play with universal law of attraction. The information that has been received into our own light bodies with regards to our dragon tribes and circles will naturally attract more of our dragon family. So eyes wide open, embodied senses. For it is through our bodies that we know truth, the truth beyond mind. And retracing your steps in the same way that you entered your circle, through the elemental pathways of earth, water, or fire, or a combination. Bringing your consciousness into your earth star. And your consciousness into your whole body. Taking time for that information to recalibrate your system, to re-inform your system for what is essentially you. And inviting you back into this present moment. Awareness in our global circle of guardians of Gaia. And some of you may like to be in silence to rest and integrate this further. If anybody would like to share their experience, you are welcome to do so.
I just wanted to note, Leanne, that I got the same message as you when I was in my dragon circle, that as we embody our dragon selves, we seal in that vibration, and then we attract our dragon families to find us in a more easier route, right? Receiving that vibration will then send it out, and then you'll able to receive it back. Yes.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Thank you for that mirror. That was just like a little bookmark when we were coming out. It's like, okay, this is your calling card you've just embodied. So don't be surprised if you start to attract your dragon tribe. Yeah. Thank you. Anyone else would like to share their experience? John.
Yeah, hi everyone. That was very unusual for me because it was not really what I was expecting. And when you mentioned, you know, the nature of the dragons and earth and fire and water, I never choose fire, and I always choose water. I always choose water or earth, you know, because I that's my connection, you know. But you know, it kind of chose for me the fire, And so I was sitting in this energy of the dragon of fire with the colors of kind of red orange, but the water wouldn't go away. It was kind of there hovering on the outside, and it settled on the back around my head and shoulders and back, that color. And it was like the scales in that place were quite translucent, but they were able to change color, so that that color of the water could get stronger, or it could get it could go away, and the fire could take over. And the colors of the water were a little bit like the inside of the shell that we have here called power, which others here might know as abalone. So it has those beautiful merging translucent shades of green and blue, and even a little touch of pink in there as well too. So I was sitting there, it felt very unusual because there was this fire here, you know, around the front like that, but there was this changeable colors of water, you know, in this back area. So you know, that's what I got.
Thank you for that, John. Yeah. For those of you who are on an earlier call, you may remember, for those that weren't, as I embodied my dragon self, it presented differently in different dimensions. My earthly dragon self was very red, and I'd known this one myself as my guardian of Gaia, my red dragon, for quite some time. Then my galactic dragon, when that one came online and I managed to embody that one, that was very much the colors of the power shell, the blues and the greens and the aquas and the purples and the violet colors. And then my universal dragon is much more translucent. It has those colors, but very softly and much more translucent. So I went through the different stages of that. So yeah, and that's why on the way back, it could have been an element or a combination, because yeah, it's not limited. We're not limited in any way or form, but often that pathway through will be that. So well done for following the path without resistance into the fire. And remember, the fire element, its power at this time, because we have been raised where anger has been made wrong and projected and done harm, we have shut down our fire. We need our fire in this lifetime and timeline. In right relationship with consciousness, we need to light that fire in our root and our base, in our womb space, and let it burn through the bullshit and the beliefs that have limited us, and come through our heart and be directed with love and consciousness, because that is the element of change. Personally and planetary, that we are here to reclaim. Anyone else would like to share their journey?
Yes. Yes.
Brigitte.
Hi. Yeah, that was just so cool, and that's really interesting because, like, the sound that you made, you know, for the column in the first part, I was making that sound right before you made it as well. It was like the same tone and everything. And then with the dragon thing, it just brought up my courage and my fire, and I so need that right now. And I've been working on that more intensely than ever before in the last 3 days. So that's really interesting. Just so great to be on this journey.
Beautiful. Thank you for your share. And yes, to that courage, that heart fire, and reigniting it. Casey.
Yeah.
I got a little message as we were going in from the dragons themselves, just saying, welcome, young ones. Welcome to you and your journey. It is important to take your dragon essence with you at this time and do not leave it behind. This merger will assist you in the times to come. The blending of the two selves will make your transition into the new, the blending of times, and the blending of dimensions easier. Faster levels of completion as you grow and expand. And being in your dragon selves, anchoring and sealing that vibration will help you call in your dragon families more fully in a more physical way. So this is what we are doing at this time and this year, because we're being encouraged to gather as our family units, our soul families, our dragon families. All of our galactic selves are being challenged and encouraged to not just exist as one solitary being anymore, but to gather again. So being in your dragon selves will help us to have that merger come more fully.
Beautiful, lovely shower of Koyopa in resonance with your sharing. Thank you. Anyone else like Brigitte?
Can I just ask, yeah, Casey, was that your near the beginning? You said something that sounded like dragon asset. Was it assets or accents?
Essence, like your beingness of the dragon, the solidarity of self. Yeah.
Got it. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else would like to offer a contribution, their journey, or a question to the field? That feels quite complete. So I would like to invite Casey. Casey and Valerie are leading a journey into Bali, Indonesia, where the dragon lines meet, our major planetary dragon lines meet in March, April this year. And maybe you'd like to share a little bit about that, Casey.
Certainly. We're being encouraged to do earth work, of course, as our soul selves and our soul missions. Valerie and I will be getting there a week before. We're encouraging people to meet in person. And I, of course, will be on the volcano opening up a portal for equinox, as I get called to do. And so we're part of the big shift that's happening on the earth by anchoring in the changes first in Bali. And then I'm seeing a reverberation out after we anchor in some of these new earth codes that will expand out through the earth. And then ending up completion in Kauai at the end of the year, because Kauai already holds that vibration of where the earth is shifting to. So it's the completion point. But because Bali holds that vibration and she's so close to already shifting and changing, expanding because of the consciousness of the people there, it's easy for us to bring those Lemurian codes that we hold from Big Island, where I was just visiting. And I'm being encouraged to go to Mount Shasta to gather those codes, to bring them both, and then bring them over to Bali, anchoring in Lemurian codes back into Mu. And Mu, we know, existed prior to Lemuria. On the timeline, there's Lemuria, and before that was Mu. So we're anchoring in those purity of the Lemurian codes back into Mu, and then allowing the shift to change, and then watching it reverberate out along the earth. So if any of you guys want to come and do some earth work, some activations, come play with the dragons. We're going to dragon temples. We're going to be connecting to some underwater temples as well. And the dragons are very much part of our support team. And also we're calling in Dragon Family to come meet us there. So it's a gathering of all sorts.
That's beautiful. Thank you. And remember the importance of following your intuition, your soul guidance on where to be. The equinox is really specific. I've watched my point of reference for equinox shift every time we do major pieces of planetary work, like the one that passed through Olga's and my tea date the other day. I was very much, at first I wanted to go to the Earthbeat Festival, which is one in New Zealand I've not been to, but a very old prana theme vibration to it. But before I could give an application, I was relocated. No, I'd be up at Kapu Wairua, which is Spirits Bay, where the souls leave the land on the north of Te Tai Tokerau, the east coast of New Zealand. But since that work, that shifted. And now I need to go scuba diving out at Poor Nights, which is a really important piece on the planetary switchboard that I've been aware of for years about that destination and to do a dive on the site there. And that's where I have to be for equinox now. So it's been following the intuition, but also without attachment, knowing it can shapeshift. As we change, so too do these destinations change. So that's really exciting. So anyone that feels they want to go scuba diving or maybe even snorkeling, I'll have to check it out on equinox in out from Tutakaka on the east coast, let me know. And the other one it feels important to mention is our journey in Raja Ampat for October. And that will be through Navratri, the 9 days of the goddess on a liverboard at the far end of the Indonesian archipelago, at one of the world's most cherished marine reserves out there. So there we go. Thank you for that query, how to get a hold of Casey. We'll always put Casey's contacts there. And also, yeah, Casey you'll find on Facebook and Instagram. I am very grateful that Casey reached out many months ago when I was destined to come to Shasta and I got detoured. But it's been a beautiful connection, and I'm greatly appreciative to everyone who takes their time to join us for these journeys, to watch them afterwards. And for Olga and Natalia, who are holding point there in Valle Sagrado in Peru at this extraordinary time. Maybe Casey, you'd like to begin to bring our journey to closure. Thank you.
So again, joining our circle, connecting hearts to hearts, soul light to soul light, in deep gratitude for our energetic exchange today, for our mental connections, for our telepathic pathways being opened, being shared, receiving the information on all levels, and thanking our dragon selves for showing up in a way that we can take with us as a tangible remembrance, an experience that we have now in our bodies and ourselves. And seeing that moment when we connected to our dragon tribe through our journeys, and knowing that we can have that in the physical by calling it in, and knowing that we can go on these pathways at any time to return and journey again, to receive more information and complete the picture of what we're needing at that time. Thanking all the dragon races for showing up in support. Thanking all the elementals, all the inner earth beings, our sky beings, our water beings, our Apu, our beautiful mountains. Thanking Pachamama, Mama Earth. Thanking our connections out at all times, knowing that we are always connected to source and to our soul level essence. And that we can tap in and gather information at any time, at any place. And knowing that we are connected to our soul family at any time, energetically, vibrationally, and through our human systems, we can reach out. In deep gratitude, we slowly come back to our own channels. We anchor ourselves back in more fully, allowing the last bit of codes and keys to come in, the last energetic vibration to come swirling down into your system. And then allowing your feet to be more fully anchored onto the earth, onto the ground. Feeling your embodiment come in and keeping you solid. Allowing you to function in your daily life. And giving gratitude for our human selves. We will slowly bring movement into our bodies. Allowing space to move and feel and experience. Giving gratitude to our human journeys. Slowly coming back into ourselves. Taking a deep breath. Feeling our lungs expand. And gently opening your eyes when you're ready. Allowing our channels to only be ours.
Thank you. And we return fully intact onto the earth plane, acknowledging the watchers who have overlit our journey today, and our sisters and brothers who have yet to join this journey and this community as it continues to grow. And also a reminder that we're now up to about 12 people on the registration to join the source portal. Those of you who are already operating as guardians of Gaia at a galactic level, and those who are beginning to operate at galactic level, if you can let me know, when we are 24, we will open that doorway. And I'm really interested to watch the cycles of this, because where Guardians of Gaia is cycling with the moon, my newsletter goes out on the solar cycles, 8 points of the solar cycle. And it looks like the source portal wants to meet on our galactic cycles. So it may be once every 18 days, according to the Mayan calendar. I'm sure that we'll be showing that once we come to 24, exactly how that will be. But it's very much syncing ourselves with the lunar cycles, syncing ourselves with the solar cycles, therefore syncing ourselves with the planetary cycles. And through the source portal, we'll start syncing ourselves with the galactic cycles. That is the reason for these communities at different stages of our journey. So putting that out there and remembering to take very good care. May 2024 be the best year of self-love and self-care ever. Much love and gratitude to you all. Thank you, Olga and Casey, for supporting and hosting this event. And we look forward to meeting again in 2 weeks' time. Perhaps we may even see if Madeline Walker would like to join us as an animal communicator and invite in the whales to speak with us. Aho mitakuyasin and kia ora. Love from Aotearoa, New Zealand.
Mitakuyasin from Mount Shasta,